Well, hello there. This is Diamond from Diamond Shine Soap, guys. I'm excited to see you today. Today we are going to make a really thick, beautiful sugar scrub. So you're going to need a heat-proof container because we're going to be putting this into the microwave. Right away, I'm adding my emulsifying wax. You can use emulsifying wax NF. You could get that off of Amazon, or you can just get it from like Nature's Garden or something like that. You can use Soft and Silky. It really don't matter. And this is stearic acid. Stearic acid is really good for the recipe because stearic acid is how you get the fluffiness in the sugar scrub. We're also going to be using coconut oil, and I really wanted to use coconut oil because I know that this will cause it to be thick, which is the texture that I always get a lot of people to say that they like a thick sugar scrub. And so after you add your coconut oil, guys, the next thing you're going to be adding is isopropyl maestrate. So I want to talk about that for a second. So isopropyl maestrate is very important for the recipe because it gives it that stretch, okay? It's not greasy. It gives it a very silky feel, and it also thickens the recipe. It is a form of an alcohol, but it's an oil. I mean, it's just, go ahead and look it up, guys. There's so much with it. It's definitely something that you want to keep in a recipe. All right, so the next thing we're going to be adding is avocado oil. You can swap out any oil that I'm using, guys. You can swap it out for oil of choice. The only thing that I ask that you keep the same is the isopropyl maestrate and the coconut oil, just to keep it, if you want it to be thick, okay? All right, so the next thing we're going to be adding is beeswax. And like I said, you guys want a thick scrub. We're going to use beeswax, and it's going to thicken it up just a little bit. So the scrub has about 2 phases to it. We have a water phase and we have an oil phase. So this is our oil phase, and we're going to take this and we're going to just pop this into the microwave, and then we're going to work on our water phase. Okay, so this is the way it should look. It shouldn't be too much in there. This is a very small recipe, so you don't waste a lot of materials testing it out. All right, so you're going to use some distilled water. And make sure it's distilled water if you're making a scrub for the first time, just to make sure that you don't get anything like any kind of little organisms from just sink water. We don't know what's in it. We don't know what's coming out. All right. So you want to add some sodium lactate to your water, and you're using about 0.20 ounces of sodium lactate. Okay. And this is just so we don't have a waxy scrub, so that, you know, when we are using the scrub, it gives a soft feeling to the skin rather than waxy and sticky. Because I'm telling you, if we just use the oils the way we use them without putting the extra stuff in it, this would be really like, I'm talking about, would feel like you rubbing a candle on your body. Really. All right, so let's go ahead and put this in the microwave, and then we're going to mix both phases together and go from there. All right, so we have everything fully melted down. You just want to give it a stir to make sure that beeswax, which the beeswax could be a little bit stubborn when it comes down to melting. I'm telling you, it takes the longest to melt. So everything that I'm using, you could actually pick up on Amazon. It's really not like, you know, you have to get ingredients from another country. Everything is on Amazon. So you just pretty much stir those 2 phases together, guys. And the next thing we're going to do is you want to make sure that your temperature is under at least 100 degrees before you add the preservative. The preservative being added at a cool temperature is really important, because if you add it when it's too hot, it would just, honestly, it wouldn't even be like you added anything at all. And so you can use Germall Plus, Phenolexol, Phenonip. Those are good broad spectrum preservatives to add to a sugar scrub, okay? And it will definitely not separate on you. Now, if you have a case where it separates on you, go ahead and put it back on the heat and try to bring it back together again. If not, then I would say your preservative is what broke the emulsion, okay? All right, so we'll talk more about that a little later. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to add your sugar, and you're going to add about 10 ounces at a time, going to about a good 27 ounces of sugar. Now, this recipe is very flexible. you can use 27 ounces of sugar. You can use 28 ounces of sugar. It's all about how thick you want it to be, okay? But as my suggestion, just do 1 ounce at a time once you get past 27, because 27, 28 is what I used. So once you get a little past that, you don't want it to be so thick that you can't even put it into your jars, okay? All right, so I'm just mixing that together, because the next thing you're going to see me do is I'm going to put this on my mixer, and I'm going to let this just basically get very fluffy on my mixer. Okay, so while this is on the mixer, you're going to go ahead and start adding sugar and basically allowing your stand mixer to go. And you want to add your SLSA to the recipe as well. Now, I don't suggest you omit that, because the texture will be slightly different if you do. So you might just have like a more of a greasy recipe. The SLSA kind of breaks down that grease and turns it into a foaming sugar scrub. So it's actually like an added benefit. You want to know where to get SLSA. You can get it off of Amazon, and you can honestly just really type it in the Google search, and you'll begin to see different vendors. And you want to get it from the cheapest as possible, because it is a very expensive ingredient, because I think they use it in bath bombs more than any other recipe that I saw. Like, if I wanted to see SLSA in a recipe, it's definitely going to be in some bath bombs. So guys, you see my texture, and it's pretty, I don't know, I don't like it. So I'm adding more and more sugar to get it to my desired texture, okay? So it's pretty thick. I like it at this texture. I really like it. It's easy to put in a jar when it's this texture. Kind of reminds me of like an ice cream. It's really pretty, very plushy. You get a little bit of residue on your finger when you touch it. Okay, so if that's your consistency, you're good. You're good at 23 ounces of sugar. If not, you're going to go ahead, put it back in there, and then you're going to add more sugar. Now, when you're finished adding your sugar, you can go ahead and do your fragrance. And if you put this on the scale, and let's say you add 28 ounces, you could be using anywhere from 1 ounce to like 1.5 ounces. Do 3%. I always do 3% because it's a wash off product, and that is my safe zone. Okay, so I'm just mixing it up after I put my sugar in there. And guys, I'm not even gonna lie to you, this is as thick as I want it to be. I don't want it to be thicker than this. The choice is totally up to you. All I know is it's still a little warm, so it is going to solidify just a little bit more. So it's going to get a little bit thicker. So I don't want it to be like thick on top of thick, if that makes sense. Okay, so this is my desired consistency. I'm going to go ahead and do a demo for you guys so you can see it lather a little bit, and then we'll be finished. What a perfect time to do a demo. As you guys can see, I'm going to take a little bit in my hand, and that just was a little bit too much, so you really don't need that much. A little goes a long way. And remember that when you get in the shower, you're going to rub that. And normally when you're in the shower, your hands are already wet, so it's still going to be the same way for your customer. So you're going to take this and you're going to keep, rubbing it. And because when you put it on your body, of course, you're going to take it and you're going to rub it all over your body. And then we're going to go ahead and rinse it off. And I want you guys to see, I'm going to rinse this off. And also I'm going to do another demo. It rinses off well, and it leaves my hands very soft. Left my body, because of course I had to test it out. I wasn't going to just post it. So it left my body feeling really good. I want you guys to be able to see a close-up of the lather, okay? So the more salsa, the more lather, but the more salsa, the less you can smell the fragrance, because for some reason salsa does overpower the smell of the fragrance. So you want to be careful with using too much SLSA. And when I say salsa, I mean SLSA. So that is the lather that you get. It's not a whole lot, but it definitely will do. So guys, that is it. Oh my God, this scrub is so beautiful. And you will not see this recipe anywhere else. I made it myself. All right.